All right, so let's talk about our favorite 3-3 comps. We saw them evolve throughout Stage 2. So, Zoe, what was your favorite change off of what we saw back in Stage 1?
For me, I think it was the fact that we saw a lot more Sombra goats. I love how much she actually changes the pace of the game. The imminent threat of having an EMP about to pop off from your enemies changes your positioning. It changes your entire approach to team fights. I just really like how disruptive this hero is and how fear-inducing that is. That's like back in the days when Widowmaker was a lot more viable on many more maps. It was just changing the positioning and the whole mentality from your enemy team. And I do think that Sombra gets a lot of that done. Therefore, I think she made it a lot more exciting to watch.
Sombra, always fun to watch. Bren, you had talked a lot about Winston during that video. Was it the Winston change for you? What did you love?
It was actually the Ana being slotted in, I think, as well. You know, as Zoe mentioned, with the Sombra combos coming around, you put in Sombra, you take away D.Va. And one of the biggest deterrents for running an Ana is the D.Va. Her defense matrix eats up the nades, eats up a lot of the healing as well. I love that we get to see Ana being played a lot more as well. There's some players we've got in our league, they made their names on that hero, Ryu Hong being one of them. And some of the things that these players are doing with that hero is just phenomenal. So I always enjoy seeing Ana being played.
Yeah, the triple tank, triple support composition was kind of developed by teams in contenders. I mean, it's named after a contender's team.
Goats.
That's why we call it Goats. Yeah. So I think it's really interesting to take a look at the contenders scene and see whether anything new would be coming up. Because a team, it's actually a really big pivotal point for our tier 2 scene at the moment in contenders. They're about to have a Pacific Showdown and the Atlantic Showdown where teams from all across the world that have been at the top of their respective regions will meet together. One of those teams, the best team in Korea, and Korean contenders is probably the best region, is called Element Mystic. And they've been running this composition that you can see at the top right-hand side of your screen.
Oh yeah, I like
the
this.
Doomfist and the Sombra. And they basically ran it for the majority of their compositions. Now, they do go back to traditional goats a little bit, but they've had a lot of success running Doomfist Sombra and just being able to plow through the competition. So this is really interesting to me because they've specialized in it. And even though I don't think it would work particularly well against the best teams in the world at this, I think it's definitely something that we could see a bunch of other teams experiment with if they have a really good Sombra and a really good Doomfist, because they just plowed through the competition there.
So thinking about that, are there any teams that come to mind? I immediately thought of the Shock. It's like, put Sinatra on that Doomfist. They got so many players that can run the Sombra.
Gladiators as well. Hydration's Doomfist is one of the best in the game, honestly, as well. I think that's what it comes down to. If we do see that comp being ran, it's going to be essentially the only reason you're going to be able to run it is if your players are capable of playing those heroes up to a higher level. I mean, it's a small list, but it comes down to what you're saying, you know. I also don't think that you're going to be able to beat the top teams in the Overwatch League with that comp when they're running a triple time, triple support.
But there are only like 2 or 3 top teams in the league.
Sure,
right now.
yeah.
Like,
but
if you have a match against anybody else, like the Guangzhou Charge is the one that comes to mind for me, actually, because they have Eileen, and Eileen's Doomfist has been sick, and the Charge really need to step up their game. So I could definitely see them flexing over to it.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to, like, it's a case of the Chengdu factor as well. I mean, Chengdu have come out with this weird comp that is working against a lot of these teams. A lot of the teams won't be able to run it because they don't have that sort of level when it comes to playing those heroes.
I can't wait to see who brings it out in our next stage. Guys, coming up after the break, we'll be talking about the top moments of the day. You don't want to miss it. Watchpoint continues after this.